Welcome to Be Well. I'm Lisa Bergaw, pharmacist, yoga teacher, and health coach. Each week, we'll explore simple, science-informed ways for us to move better, feel more resilient, and feel more at home in our bodies. From breath work and strength training to sleep, hormones, and healthy habits, we're here to help you age well and truly thrive, one small step at a time. This is Be Well.
Hi, this is Lisa Bergaw, and this is Be Well. Welcome. We talk a lot on this show about self-care and how self-care is not selfish. Also about creating healthy habits and trying to release perfectionism. And I have a wonderful guest with me today. This is Sadie Frankel, and she is way ahead of her time. I took much, much longer to figure things out that perfectionism is a lie and that self-care was really important. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and where you're at right now.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to be here. I really appreciate your time. My name is Sadie. I'm 23, and long story short, I just wrapped up a job and now I don't really know what I'm going to do next. Which for the first time in my life is the case. But I'm super excited about it, and it's been a long journey getting here. A little bit about me, I graduated high school, went to Northwestern for journalism and political science. I always kind of knew that I wanted to work in politics and communications. Those were really my areas of interest for my entire life, stemming from a slightly unhealthy obsession with the West Wing at a very young age, where I saw C.J. Craig as the press secretary and said, that's me, that's what I want to do.
And you did it.
And then I did it.
Yes.
I just finished up working as press secretary for one of Connecticut's senators, and it was an amazing experience, but it was also a very difficult time. Over the past couple years, I've gone through a lot. I developed a pretty severe eating disorder, and so I think I've taken a lot of time to step back and realize that these self-care habits that I was completely neglecting and the balance that I absolutely wasn't finding were just not going to work long term. So now I'm taking a little break to kind of recalibrate, and I'm excited for what comes next.
I'm so excited for you, and I keep saying that you're being fun employed right now.
Yes,
I'm kind of jealous about it, actually.
I'm
It took me
excited.
so much longer to figure all this out, and I'm just so happy for you that you figured it out so young.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've been through a lot, and thank you so much for sharing your story, because it takes a lot of courage, and I really, really appreciate that. I also want to say I've known Sadie for several months now, and I've seen her thrive. Like, you are glowing now. When I first met you, you were just kind of subdued and quiet, and you're beaming. And I do work with Sadie as a personal trainer, and she's like tripled her weight, and she's a rock star. She's really, really, really
It
strong.
feels good. It
strong
feels
inside
good.
and out.
Yeah.
And I just love chatting with you, and I'm so happy that you agreed to come onto the show and share this, because I feel like so many other people can really benefit from learning that. Things that we did, and we were talking about grades in kindergarten or fifth grade or whatever, we're so afraid that it's going to affect our permanent record or not get us into the right college or whatever. And you did all that. You got into an amazing school, you have an amazing degree, you've got an amazing job, and you still know that that isn't all of it. There's more to it. There's more to life.
I lived so much of my life so far for the next step, thinking I get this grade so I can get to this college, so I can major in this degree, so I can get this job. And I was thinking that way probably up until a couple weeks ago. I was applying for jobs. I wanted this big corporate job in New York City. I was deciding this is my next step. This is the way I'm supposed to do this, because I'm a very by the book person. I like rules. I like knowing what happens next. And then the job didn't work out, and I had already given my notice, not because I knew that I needed to move on from my former position. And I was left thinking oh my God, what do I do now? Right. I had no idea what I was supposed to do. And I kind of talked it through with a couple people, and I was like, wait, this is the best case scenario, because now I have the time, I have the fortune to take a step back and look at my life as a whole, rather than just climbing the ladder and figuring out what happens next. I have been this way for as long as I can remember. I have just been working toward the next step and beating myself up when I don't get there or when I fall short. And now I'm realizing that's not how I want to live my life. I want to live it with love and with balance and with taking care of myself, because that's really what I value at the end of the day.
And what I'm seeing when we talk is you're more present. Like you're in the moment. Like, what can I do to enjoy myself today? You know, and you're so cute because you'll say like, and then after this, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna just enjoy this whatever you're doing. And you have so much fun. And I love, she came into, I want you to share this story. She comes into training one day and she's like, you know, you can tell you really lived your life. Do you remember that, what you said about?
Oh, when I had the bruises all over my legs. I didn't have bruises for like years, because I wasn't like going outside and playing. And I wasn't like making silly choices that may be like a little reckless, because I'm known for that. I'm known for being a little bit silly, a little bit reckless. I've had more injuries than I can count from just like taking on life. And for a couple years, I was such a shell of myself. I had no bruises on my legs. I had no stories to tell. I was always the person that went to like friend reunions, family reunions, and was just like, listen to this crazy thing that happened. And that went away. I was telling you earlier that my family has told me a couple times, like, wow, I forgot you can be really annoying. Because I wasn't talking. I wasn't like sharing, and
sometimes
I'm a little talkative. Sometimes
happy you're back.
A little chattier than I need to be. So it's just a great feeling to like really feel like I am present now.
Yeah. I love that. I really love that. And I do want to congratulate you, because I feel like you've done a lot of the work. And I really feel like that's important to remind people is self-care does take some work.
It does.
And you can make it fun, right? And you can make it bite-sized. I think when you see this whole, oh my gosh, I have so much to do to be healthy. I have so much to do to get back to where I was. And it's just daunting, and you just don't try. Or you just accept the things the way they are. This is just the way it is. And it doesn't have to be.
Well, throughout my whole recovery journey, I kept saying to my parents, to my therapist, to everyone, I was like, I wish I just woke up and I was better. Like, I wish I just, like, I would be fine with it. I just want to wake up better. But that's not how it works, and I had to put in the work. But it took me a long time to accept the fact that I wasn't just going to wake up better. And I still sometimes forget that there's work to do still. Like, I am so much better than I was, but mentally and physically, like, I need to continue the work. And that work is really hard and really uncomfortable and really weird and like kind of awkward to talk about sometimes, but it's so important. And there's no shortcuts. There's no way you can get around it. There's a lot, like in your job even, you can take some shortcuts. In your self-care and in your health, there's no shortcuts to take.
No shortcuts. There's no magic pill. There's no magic bullet. You do have to put in the work. Again, I feel like if you put the work in and you have fun doing it.
And you have fun doing it. That's
and that
super
I think is
important.
so important. And I tell people that all the time when you're trying to start like a wellness journey or a movement journey, or you want to get stronger, you want to work your cardio. If you do things that are fun, you'll keep doing them. And when you try things that are a little outside of your comfort zone, and I try to tell people, get in your comfort zone, go to the edges of your comfort zone, because then your nervous system is challenged but not overwhelmed. And so if you stay in that comfort zone, but if you just stay where it's easy, you don't grow.
Exactly.
But if you push your comfort zone a little and then you get over that and you go, wow, look what I did.
Yeah, for me,
and I'm stronger and I'm happier and I'm having fun and look what I could do, right?
Yeah, that usually for me looked like I would do something challenging that would challenge the eating disorder, but I would do it with my family, or I would do it with people I was very comfortable with. I would put myself in an uncomfortable situation surrounded by support and love and compassion. So even the challenging thing, it's hard to be scared when you're surrounded by people you trust with your life.
And who love you so much.
And who love you so much,
And I agree with that. Like, community is so important. Surrounding yourself with people that support you, or finding a community of people that support you. We've talked about this before, and I would love for you to share it a little bit about how sometimes we punish our bodies, or it's the only thing we have control over. So when we feel like everything else in our lives are out of control, the one thing we're in control of what we put in our mouth or how we treat our bodies.
And that is me in a nutshell. That was like kind of the source of it, was I felt out of control. I kind of fell apart, for lack of a better word, because I felt like I had nothing else going for me. And I was moving my body to feel that sense of control that normally I would find in other areas of my life. And I still believe that control can be a good thing. I think that you can work with it. I'm not getting rid of my obsessive personality sometimes. Like there's no way of getting rid of that, but I'm going to work with it. And I was talking to friends a little bit ago about the difference between moving your body out of respect and appreciation versus moving your body to punish it. And there is such a difference, even if it could look the same. Like people can go for the same run, same amount of time, same pace, but the motivations really do matter.
That mindset.
And you leave it feeling completely different depending on how you go into it. And it's so important to find the movement that works for you. And for me, like that's often strength training because I feel best when I feel strong. And there's such a difference between going to the gym because you're like, oh my God, I have to, I had a big meal, I like whatever, I need to work it off. Like that drives me nuts. I get on my family about that all the time. But there's such a difference between doing that and then saying, wow, that dinner was amazing. And also, I'm going to go to the gym because that's going to make me feel good as a person.
And when you're exercising, you need to fuel your body.
Exactly.
So eating right. And what I'm seeing with you too is that you're learning how to fuel your body. You're eating smart, you're making good choices, and you have healthy respect for nutrition, and you have a healthy respect for your body and how your body works. And you've shared this with me before, and if you want to elaborate on this, maybe if I'm not saying it correctly, but that you're actually paying attention to that, and you're like interested in it. Our bodies are magical. They're what we can do. I love biochemistry. I know I'm a weirdo. I'm a pharmacist, but biochemistry I think is fascinating. I didn't like general chemistry at all. I didn't want to be a pharmacist because I didn't want to take chemistry, and then I learned biochemistry, and like from the point where you put food in your mouth, the enzymes that are in your saliva, and then how that goes into your body and where it goes, our bodies are just like fascinating.
So cool.
Yeah.
No, I have a huge respect and appreciation for nutrition and like proper nutrition. I'm someone who will never say no to a sweet treat. And I was driving my family insane during the recovery process because I was learning all this stuff about nutrition, and then I was sharing it, and they were like, but like they didn't necessarily want that. But I really I am a staunch breakfast believer. I am like learning what my body needs and what I need to give it in order for it to do the things that I want to do. Plus, the things that are gonna, like, I heard somewhere that you have to feed your body, but you also have to feed like your soul. You have to feed like the child in you. You have to eat the chicken nuggets. You have to eat the ice cream. You have to embrace it. Like,
and in balance. Like in
balance.
Moderation.
Exactly.
Right? But I feel like when we withhold things, like we don't enjoy the good foods that we really enjoy. I mean, if all you eat is chicken nuggets, that's different.
That's different.
But if you're eating it because you're doing it for the joy of it,
it's
like a celebration.
A dino nugget? Yes, please.
I love that. And you're finding joy in it. And that's where I think the difference is. It's the mindset around it. Finding the joy in your movement, finding the joy in your food.
Exactly.
I just think that's fabulous. It's so good.
No, it's a really great feeling to be back. Like I see my family, extended family, who I don't see all the time, and so I saw them a couple months ago for the first time in like a year, and they were blown away by what a different person I was. And it's the most amazing feeling to just know that you did that and you came back and you want to be back. And I have such a bigger social life and like a bigger life in general that I just have such an appreciation for.
I love that so much. So what advice would you give your like 18-year-old self? Or your 5-year-old self? Or whenever you feel like that something might have shifted?
Well, I was thinking about this earlier, and I remember in 4th grade, I am a little bit flaky. Even if I'm an overachiever, I'm a perfectionist, I'm a little flaky. And there was one day, we had a class currency where you would gain if you would get money if you did something good, you would lose it if you did something bad. And we had to get a test. I aced the test, we had to get it signed by our parents. I did not because I forgot. And I remember sobbing about not having my test signed. And my teacher was like, well, I'm gonna take the money from you because that's the policy, but it's not that deep. Like, it's okay. And so I think that's kind of what I tell my younger self, is just like the things that feel astronomical, like monumental in the moment, probably aren't going to matter in a couple days, like let alone 5 years.
Right.
And I still remember that because it's like a funny story of how I've always been this perfectionist, and also always been flaky. But it will, like, it's not that, like, some things are that important, but a lot of the things that we like stress ourselves out over and beat ourselves up over are just not that important. And you can take a deep breath. And I wish I'd told myself after college. I graduated and I started a very high pressure job 2 weeks later. I should have taken time. Like, I can, and now I am taking that time, and I'm so thankful. I'm so fortunate that I'm able to take that time. But that time is so important, the time to step back and look at your life as a bigger picture, and like, what do I actually want to see? Because I'm not
enjoy
and
celebrate all the little things you've gotten, all the big things you've gotten,
and be with your friends, and appreciate where you are in life. Because I'm still very young, but I mean, I went through college. I loved college. I had a great time. But I'm never gonna have those years again. So I'm glad I embraced where I was. And that's what I wanna do, continue doing. I don't wanna look back and say when I was 23, I was stressing myself out over these huge jobs and like punishing myself when I wasn't getting them. I wanna look back and say, like, I went on this trip, I had lunch with a friend, I sat with my parents and had family dinner. Like, those are the things that I'm gonna look back on and love. And there's no point in just like beating myself up over the things that I can't control.
And you know you're successful, and you know that a good job's going to come up. And what I'm hearing from you as we talk, like as we've been talking over the months, is what's supposed to happen is going to come to you.
Exactly.
And I feel like you believe that.
I do. I really do. And for a while I said I did, but I didn't. But now I feel like I'm in a place where I really do like feel that. And I don't just believe it, I feel it. Like, I know that I work hard, and I put all of myself into what I do, which means that taking this time, I'm going to continue to work hard at everything I do, which may mean working hard at having fun. But I'm going to put my all into it because that's what I do. And I'm always been terrified of failure, and there's a part of me that says taking this step back is a failure. But first of all, sometimes failure is necessary. When I was struggling with the eating disorder, my therapist told me, like, I want you to fail this. I want you to fail this so badly. And I'd say I failed it because I got better, and that's a success. But in my head, at the time, that was a failure.
So even just to hear the word failure.
Exactly. It fills you with dread and like, oh my God, I can't do that. That's not me.
I had a yoga teacher once say, I love this. She said to me, it was in a teacher training, and she said, I invite you to be a C student. And I literally went,
no, exactly.
What?
No, not me.
But can I tell you what? It was the best practice I ever had because I just let it happen. I didn't have to excel at anything. And it was just a yoga class. It wasn't even life. I mean, it is such a symbol for life. And you know, I love my yoga, but to give yourself permission to just do enough, to be enough.
To be enough.
And that's a C student, is enough.
Exactly.
Like, we don't have to have A pluses and everything. My kids in elementary school, one of their favorite teachers, she had played softball in high school, and her team was like undefeated, all through high school, undefeated. And these third grade girls were on this great softball team, and they were undefeated, and then they lost. And they came in sobbing into school, and she goes, congratulations. And they go, no, we lost. And she goes, congratulations, because you learned it earlier than I did. I didn't learn it until I went to college. And it was devastating, and I didn't know how to do it. She goes, good for you, you learned how to do it gracefully now. And I was like, what a great teacher you are.
And you can cry about it, and you can be upset.
You can be disappointed.
But then you move on.
Right. And in the big scheme of things, is it going to matter that you lost a softball game in third grade? Is it going to matter that, I don't know, whatever the thing is we think we're failing at? But we got to have fun. Can you share where you're going?
Yes, so I'm taking some time. I'm very fortunate to have lived at home and worked for the past year, so I'm going to be traveling to Portugal, Spain, and Italy.
I love it.
I'm actually going by myself, which is a big deal for me. I've never traveled by myself before. And yeah, it'll be a really big adventure because for so long I had no idea what the next day was going to look like in a bad way, in a like, oh, scary, like medical issues way. And now I have no idea what my next day is going to look like in a, I could do whatever I wanted.
In an adventurous way.
I can just go to Portugal and live in hostels and meet locals and meet other travelers and eat good food and go for hikes throughout, like wherever. It's so exciting to be able to live.
I like to talk about synchronicity too, and you told me a synchronous story about a friend of yours from college or from an internship that happens to be doing a similar trip. That is going to be in the hostel where you.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
weird, right?
So crazy. I booked my hostel on this app that allows you to see who else is staying in your hostel while you're there, and I looked at it, and it was my old roommate.
I love it.
My old roommate that I lived with for 3 or 4 months in Madison, Wisconsin. Is going to be in the same hostel at the same time as me.
I think that's so cool.
Which is so, like, everyone I've told that to is like, that's so crazy. I'm like, no, it's just, that's how the world works.
Yeah.
You find these weird moments that turn out to be so much more than you expected them to be. Like, I expected a solo trip. I find out last night that one of my best friends from when I was 3 years old, her sister's studying abroad in one of the places that I'm going in Spain. So she's like, you'll have to hang out with her there.
So fun.
Like, these things happen when you let them happen.
They do. And I think the more open you are to it, like I've heard one said that we vibrate, like we have a frequency, and it's like a radio station, you know, like you might be the country station and this one might be the pop station or whatever, but that you kind of vibe in that, and that's why you bump into people all over the world that you grew up with or whatever.
Exactly.
I have a friend who was her daughter was studying abroad in Spain, and she and her other daughter were going to visit, and they were only going for like a long weekend. And another friend said, oh, my brother and sister-in-law are going to be there. You guys should get together. And she's like, I have a long weekend. I don't have time for that. And so they were walking down the street. It was raining. They jumped into a restaurant, and they said, we only have one big table, so you're going to have to sit there. If someone else comes, you're going to have to share the table. Guess who came in and sat with them at that table? The friend's brother and sister-in-law. Like, you just don't know. And I think when you're open to that and you're open to adventures, you meet people. And when you're open to talking to people and exploring, you can just have these amazing like coincidences that become just kind of a neat experience. But I feel like you're really open to all that. Like whatever's going to come is going to come.
Exactly.
Because like you have faith that it is. You've put in the work. You consistently put in the work. And I feel like you're having fun doing it.
I really am. Yeah. No, and there were times when it was not fun. And there were times when I could not make it fun.
Right.
But then I pushed past those because I knew they were necessary. And then I found ways to slowly add fun back in, slowly reach out to more and more people, because you get so in your head and isolated that you say, oh, I have no one, I don't know anyone. Like,
or where do you start? Like, how did you find help? Who did you ask first? Like, how would you?
My parents. I am unbelievably fortunate to have parents that for my entire life have really done nothing but support me. And they never put any pressure on me to succeed. Success to them just looked like me doing my best and me being happy. So when I was struggling, I was really fortunate that I could turn to my parents and say, this is what's happening. And they found me the help. They just, through a lot of research, through going through their own therapists, they were able to find me people to talk to and people to say, oh yeah, she needs help. And then those people have stayed with me for the past 2 years. And I still see them. Like, I am a lot better, but I still go to my treatment team and run a lot of decisions by them. But they've signed off on the European trip, which was very exciting.
I love that.
But yeah, so and also friends. Eating disorders can be tough because they're very isolating and they're also very awkward to talk about. It's just, there's a taboo around them. And I've never been a particularly self-conscious person. I always say my comfort level is determined by those around me. I will share what you want me to share. And so I had no problem talking to people about it, but I knew where there were lines, where there were triggers, where there were push points, but I found some people that I was able to just be completely honest in myself with. I have some friends who've just stood by me through so much, and it's been amazing. But there were times when I isolated myself even from then, but then I realized that all it takes is a text. In these days, like, they live across the country from me, a lot of my friends, but all it takes is a text and I get them back. Like, they're my friends and they stand by me, but it's so easy, especially like living in Connecticut with not that many young people around. It's so easy to forget that other people exist that love you and that want you here.
Right. I do feel like sometimes people feel really alone. And you can be alone and not lonely, but you can be, and you can be in a big group and be very lonely. So, so what advice would you give to somebody who's going through maybe where you were several years ago?
I say reach out. I think that the best thing to do is to find someone that you trust, whether it's a parent, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a cousin, a friend, a teacher. There are people that will point you in the right direction, and there will be people that disappoint you. And I lost friends because of this, because there were a lot of people who couldn't handle it, and I wasn't necessarily asking them for help, I was just asking for support, and they couldn't provide even that, which is fine. People have their own things, but there are people, you will find them. And even if it feels like there's literally no one, there's someone. And if it's a therapist, great. Like, just someone is so important to get the ball moving and to get you to a place where you can get help. And even if you don't need help, just reach out. And something I've realized over the past couple years is that everyone feels lonely sometimes. And often people don't know how to initiate a conversation. So just being the one to reach out, people are more open than you think they are. People are more open to making new friends and to talking to new people than you think. So if there's a stranger that seemed like you like their vibe, go up to them and say, hey, I like your pants. Like, do you want to grab coffee? Make that conversation. And more people than you expect are open to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're such an inspiration because I know we always say we're on the other side. You're so far on the other side and you're still putting in the work. And I think that's really important to remember too. But also, like, it's just so inspirational to see that, perfectionism, it gets us far. Like, it gets working hard, but it also limits us. It really holds us back.
Definitely.
And I feel like you've been able to, like, dim it a little bit and pause. But I love that you say that you pause and then you reflect on it. Is this important? Is this going to be important?
Yes.
Down the road.
Yeah.
And then how do you get past that or let it go?
Yeah.
And I feel like what you shared with me anyway is you're learning to let some things go that you wouldn't have let go in the past.
Definitely. Yeah. No, there are a lot of times when, and my family will point them out to me when something will, like, I used to be so obsessive with, like, the way that my food was prepared. Like, dinner had to be perfect or else it wasn't worth eating. And sometimes my family will be making dinner and they're like, oh no, we forgot this major component to dinner. And I'm like, it's all right, we'll find something else. They're like, you would have never been okay with that a couple months ago. And I'm like, no, you're absolutely right. But learning to let some things go and realizing it's not the end of the world when they do. Like, I remember getting lunch out by myself for the first time, and I was like, okay, I'll just get this safe option. I'll get this option that I've had before with people, like, I know I can eat it. And then I was like, but if I do that now, when am I gonna change? If I don't change now, when am I going to? When am I gonna find the perfect moment to make a change? And there is no perfect moment. The best moment is right now. And just, like, I told you, like, the thing that guided me throughout the past couple of years has been the phrase, nothing changes if nothing changes. Because I kept doing the same thing and then being like, why am I not better? Why are things not better? Why do I not feel better? Why do I not have more social connections? Because I wasn't doing anything differently. So if you feel stuck, do something different. And maybe it won't be what you needed it to be, but maybe it will and your life will change.
Right. And it might not be as scary as you think.
Exactly.
Like, we were talking about this coming over here. Like, sometimes we make things so much harder. We think about like putting off a call. I have to make this call. And you put it off and you put it off, and you make all this whole story in your head, and then you finally make the call and it takes 10 seconds and it's done. You're like, oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
Right? But we put it off. We made this whole story around it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it took me like 4 weeks to make a vet appointment for my cat, and then it took me 20 seconds. Like, it's like, doing the thing seems so much scarier until you actually do it. And then once you do it, it's a breeze, chances are. And if it's not, then you work at it and you do it anyway, because things can be really hard, but often the things that are the hardest are the things that pay off the most in the end.
Yes, the most rewarding.
The most rewarding, yeah.
Real. Well, I'm so happy that you were here. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know that takes a lot of courage, and I really, really, really appreciate it. And I hope that you watching at home got something out of today's conversation. And if you're looking for some support, or you know somebody that could use this, please share this episode with them too, because I feel like there is help out there, and our bodies are beautiful and magical, and it doesn't matter how perfect we are. Yeah. We're just perfectly imperfect, and you're just wonderful as you are. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and be well.
Good job.
Thank you for joining me on Be Well. I hope today's conversation inspires at least one simple way for you to support yourself. Before you step back into your day, pause and choose one uplifting action you can gift yourself. What's your one thing going to be? Remember, small, consistent steps create meaningful change. Until next time, take a breath, take care, and be well.